Joining us now is New York Republican Congressman and member of the House Homeland Security Committee. There he is, Congressman Anthony D'Esposito. Congressman, first of all, was it all smoke and mirrors by the Democrats? Your thoughts about their convention?
Absolutely. It was a well-orchestrated event, that DNC. And as we heard, it was they just continued to lie and gaslight the American people. No real policies, no plans. And I had my team actually do a little research. And if you rewind back to July of the same week in 2024, many of the people who spoke at the convention were talking about the fact that Biden's economic policies are great and the country's doing well. And then you fast forward 1 month and those same people were on the stage at the DNC talking about how they're going to make the economy better. It's just they continue to lie to the American people. Now they're trying to say that they're the party that's tough on border when Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are the ones that left that border wide open. It's the most porous it's been. There's close to 15 million people that have come into this country illegally. They are not the party of law and order. They're not the party of securing the border. They're not the party of a good economy. And they're certainly not a party of foreign policy. The only thing that they are running on are social issues.
You know, you hit a lot of issues there. And of course, if you look at all the polls, Congressman, economy, border, those are huge issues for America. Trump always seems to do better. And yet it's interesting, the spin, because as we were just showing there, Kamala Harris pulls out a number and says, OK, well, Trump is going to raise your taxes. What is your reaction when you hear this? Is this all sort of deflection? Is she hoping somebody is going to buy it and not actually crunch the numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's twofold. I think that she is a professional at gaslighting, and secondly, they are hoping that the more they say it and the more certain mainstream media outlets continue to play it over and over and over again, that people will actually start to believe it. And it's insane. Over the last 3.5 years, it was her failed leadership. It was the failed leadership of Joe Biden that have put this country into the place that we're in today. And I mean, Politico just did an article a couple of days ago with regards to Democrats running in these tight seats in New York. They don't even have policies on their website because they don't have a policy. All they're just going to continue to say is, we can do it better. We can do it better. I mean, my opponent continues to talk about this bipartisan border deal where it didn't even pass the Senate, and it wasn't a solution to the problem. It was a surrender, just codifying all of the disastrous policies that Joe Biden put in place.
You know, aside from the DNC this week, we also just saw what was, I think, a political earthquake. This is RFK Jr. suspending his campaign and endorsing Donald Trump. I mean, it's an extraordinary moment to think of a Kennedy endorsing Donald Trump, but watch this.
Judging by her bellicose, belligerent speech last night in Chicago, we can assume that President Harris will be an enthusiastic advocate for this and other neocon military adventures. And President Trump says that he will reopen negotiations with President Putin and end the war overnight as soon as he becomes president. This alone would justify my support for his campaign.
So, Congressman, how does this endorsement of a Kennedy for Trump and seeing the two of them on stage last night, I'll tell you, it was an extraordinary moment to see. And the crowd went crazy chanting, Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. I mean, we're looking at it right here. How does this really reshape the political race for President Trump, especially if it's a tight race?
I think we're going to see over the next week or so, you know, there'll probably be the peak of Kamala Harris's campaign coming off the DNC and the show that they put on. But the American people, you know, what they talk about around their dinner tables here in the 4th Congressional District, what families sit around and talk about at their dinner table, the things that keep them up at night, that's the stuff that we're focusing on. And I think that, you know, Mr. Kennedy saw that and realizes and understands that Donald Trump is the one that is delivering the solutions to the problem. We already saw what our country was like under 4 years of leadership of Donald Trump. And now we've seen over the last 3.5 years the absolute disaster that Kamala Harris has turned this country.